Hello, you fucks. Hi. Welcome to John Solo's Beard Brigade. I'm John Solo. You are not, and it's time for another Storytime episode. Sometimes I go for weeks without doing these. If I'm working for a publisher, somebody like that, they don't want me putting these out. But, excuse me, I got cum in my throat. When I'm working for an independent author, which it's always my pleasure to do, I get to put these out. So Storytime episodes are where I record a live session of me making an audiobook. You're going to hear me make mistakes constantly. Most of the time, actually she doesn't show up until halfway through this time, but most of the time Tracy, my lovely friend, is helping me and correcting me along the way. I'm in a Discord crowd, so I'm chatting with the crowd back and forth too. You'll get the idea. It's a live session. You get to be a fly on the wall, so to speak. This one in particular is Sylvana Falcon, a good friend of mine, and this is book 2 in the Monsters of Veridia series. I got a lot of that shit today. It's the end of a long day. It's almost 5 o'clock, and I recorded for 3 finished hours today, so 6 hours in the booth. Anyways, Monsters of Veridia book 2. These need to be listened to in order. If you haven't read or listened to book 1, please stop, go back. There's no spoilers in this as far as that goes, but it is very helpful to get the story in advance. This is well worth it. This is paranormal romance at its finest. MM romance, it's great. We move on in this book to Daniel, and, well, you'll see. He's kind of dark. He's got a lot of shadows. And he was the enemy of the last book. It's fantastic. We kind of bust into the middle of one of the beginning chapters here. And really, you don't need to know much other than Daniel, who was abducted by his this villain in the last book. He's been returned, but he's now being pulled back into the place where he was abducted in a dream. I hope you all enjoy. Hope that isn't confusing, but trust me, you can go along for the ride. Love you guys. Please check this out, and please let me know in the comments what you think. Bye. When he opened his eyes, Daniel found himself transported back in time. The room wasn't quite right. The walls and shelves blurred at the edges like an unfinished watercolor. But the bed was exactly as he remembered it. This was where the Shadow King had held him captive. This was where the Shadow King had held him captive. And now the Shadow King sat beside him, close enough that Daniel felt the otherworldly chill radiating from his skin. Daniel often dreamed of Caelen, but this felt different. For one, because he was aware that he was dreaming, and Caelen had known his felt different. For one, because he was aware that he was dreaming, and Caelen felt different. For one, because he was aware that he was dreaming, and Caelen had this knowing smile on his face as if he'd done something. "Really?" Daniel asked, glaring at the half-fae. "It wasn't enough for you to mess with my head. You have to mess with my dreams, too?" Caelen's smile didn't falter. And now to use this beautiful reference we found. "Now that I have been given the chance, I want to use my powers to bring..." I don't know what to call that voice. I don't think we have a name for it yet. I guess it'll end up being the Caelen voice. "With my dreams, too?" Caelen's smile didn't falter. Where is it? There we go. "With my dreams, too?" Caelen's smile didn't falter. "Messing with your head is amusing, but it would never be enough for me. It's been too long since I was able to see you properly." His eyes slid over Daniel's body, and a shiver ran down Daniel's spine. He could feel the mattress under him, solid and real, could smell that distinctive mix of frost and darkness surrounding Caelen. This was way more intimate than just talking to the man in his head. This was way more intimate than just talking to the man in his head. Caelen shifted closer. This was way more intimate than just talking to the man in his head. Caelen shifted closer, and Daniel felt that familiar pull, like gravity gone wrong, like falling sideways. Like gravity gone wrong, like falling sideways. Be honest. You wanted to see me too. He reached out to Daniel. Because you know I can help you. Daniel scooted back until he hit the headboard, putting precious inches between them. His heart slammed against his ribs, and he forced himself to look anywhere but at Caelen's perfect lips, spouting perfect lies. Caelen's perfect lips, spouting perfect lies. Why would you want to help me? You're a villain. I wish you would leave me alone. Now who's lying? Caelen smirked. Our connection is too strong for me to abandon you. Daniel narrowed his eyes at the half-fae. A connection that formed when I glimpsed inside your mind. He should never have done that, and yet I remember what I saw there. A tortured figure inside of Caelen's soul, screaming. Caelen regarded him silently. Whatever he felt about that incident, he'd locked those feelings away. Probably the same way he locked away all of his other feelings away. Whatever he felt about that incident, he'd locked those feelings away. Probably the same way he locked all of his other feelings away. Aside from his cruelty and thirst for revenge, Daniel to him must be a tool that could be used to enact this revenge. Nothing more than that. Daniel couldn't let himself forget it. He dug his nails into his palms. He didn't want to be here with Caelen. Talking to the Shadow King was dangerous for so many reasons. Daniel didn't trust himself around Caelen. The man was a villain, a monster, but he was also the sexiest man Daniel had ever laid eyes on. He looked at the half-fae and wanted to go down on his knees before him, wanted to open his pants and get his lips around what was no doubt a perfectly shaped, nice, long cock. No doubt a perfectly shaped, nice, long cock. Many paintings had been painted imagining just how perfect, and Daniel... I'm going to try and keep a straight face. No doubt a perfectly shaped, nice, long cock. Many paintings had been painted imagining just how perfect, and Daniel had downloaded all of them. Bad Daniel, he told himself. Straight to horny jail with you. I still don't know how you did it, Caelen admitted, for once oblivious to Daniel's thoughts. You stared straight into my soul the way I myself can't even do. Daniel forced a laugh, though it came out more breathless than he had intended. Huh? Oh, maybe you should have read the package leaflet before trying to eat my soul. Side effects may include unexpected psychic connections and awkward midnight visits. Side effects may include unexpected psychic connections and... Yeah, I bumbled on psychic. Daniel forced a laugh, though it came out more breathless than he had intended. Well, maybe you should have read the package leaflet before trying to eat my soul. Side effects may include unexpected psychic connections and awkward midnight visits. He couldn't help the bad joke. Rambling was his default defense mechanism when uncomfortable, and boy was he uncomfortable. The way Caelen's eyes tracked his movement made him feel like prey, yet something deeper tugged at him, that same magnetic draw he'd felt during his captivity, the one he'd been trying so hard not to lean into. The one he'd been trying so hard not to lean into. I did not try to eat your soul, Caelen said, his voice carrying that aristocratic offense. Yeah, I said it right. That's valid, Brooke. I think any time you say that, it's appropriate. I did not try to eat your soul. I did not try to eat your soul, Caelen said, his voice carrying that... Hey, there's Tracy. Good morning, Tracy.
Good morning. I didn't see a message from you.
I thought I messaged you, didn't I? Yeah, getting ready to start. You're all good. I'm sorry I was late. I am page 27, search word, aristocratic. With his flesh-colored shirt, I thought for a second that he was naked.
He is not naked.
I know. Now I see it's just a shirt. It's a flesh-colored shirt. I couldn't help it. That's exactly what it is. I was wondering why I showed up. We aren't in a sex scene yet. I love Bob, but don't ever tell him I said that. I did not try to... He knows. Do you find where we are? Off of the word aristocratic?
Not yet. Okay.
Good morning, Emma. I did not try to eat your soul, Caelen said, his voice carrying that aristocratic offense that made Daniel want to roll his eyes. I merely attempted to share in your energy. Little clicky there on the end. Being that aristocratic offense that made Daniel want to roll his eyes. I merely attempted to share in your energy. Attempted to share in your energy. Oh, well, when you put it that way, Daniel snorted. That makes it so much better. Just like a little nibble of my life force. Totally different. The corner of Caelen's mouth twitched. You joke when you're afraid, he observed. Are you afraid of me, Daniel? Afraid? Of the guy who kidnapped me and tried to feed on my life force? Daniel's fingers twisted in the bedsheets. Nah, that'd be weird. God, he needed to stop talking. Every word that came out of his mouth made him sound more unhinged. But it was better than letting Caelen see how fast his heart was racing, how the proximity between them made his skin buzz with awareness. How the proximity between them made his skin buzz with awareness. Better to be How the proximity between them made his skin buzz with awareness. Better to be the annoying hostage than the horny one. Scratch that thought. He was not a hostage now. He took a steadying breath. What he needed was a change of topic. What do you know about the barrier keepers? Something dark flickered across Caelen's features.
You said across.
You said across. It was a change of topic. What do you know about the barrier keepers? Something dark flickered across Caelen's features. Those self-righteous zealots should mind their own affairs. You can't believe anything they promise you. Daniel's fingers twisted deeper into the sheets. So they're like you. No, I don't hide the fact that I'm a villain. They do. You tried to hide it, Daniel pointed out. Caelen shrugged, unbothered. It was serving my purpose at the time. Now, you have to wonder what's serving the barrier
Purposes.
keepers. To hide it, Daniel pointed out. Caelen shrugged, unbothered. It was serving to hide it, Daniel pointed out. Caelen shrugged, unbothered. It was serving my purposes at the time. Now, you have to wonder what's serving the barrier keeper's purposes. He leaned closer, and Daniel caught that winter frost scent again. They maintain order at any cost, and damn the consequences. Daniel frowned. What consequences? Think of the people from Veridia who now live in your world. What happens to them when the walls go up? Daniel frowned. What consequences? Daniel frowned. What consequences? Think of the people from Veridia who now live in your world. What happens to them if the walls go up? What happens to Knox? To Adrian? Caelen's voice dropped lower. What happens to our connection? Heat crept up Daniel's neck at those last words. He pushed the reaction down, focusing on the bigger picture. You don't care about Knox and Adrian, he reminded Caelen. You only care that you couldn't stalk me anymore. Caelen offered him another smirk. There you go again, insisting you want me to disappear from your life. I don't believe that. Daniel's heart thundered in his chest. Of course that's what I want, he made himself say, hating how his voice wavered. I probably could be a bit wavier. Believe that? Daniel's heart thundered in his chest. Believe that? Daniel's heart thundered in his chest. Of course that's what I want, he made himself say, hating how his voice wavered. And besides, the barriers need to be fixed before more people disappear. And you trust the keepers to do that? Caelen's fingers brushed Daniel's cheek, sending electricity down his spine. They'll destroy everything in their path for their precious walls. Daniel jerked away from the touch, scrambling off the bed before he could do something he would later regret. They'll destroy everything in their path. I had to drive through snow last night on the way home. From band practice, because I'm in a band. They'll destroy everything in their path for their precious walls. They'll destroy everything in their... Can't find that on the page. There it is. I had scrolled too far. His fingers brushed Daniel's cheek, sending electricity down his spine. And I lost it again. Oh, because I backed up one more line. Fine. His fingers brushed Daniel's cheek, sending electricity down his spine. They'll destroy everything in their path for their precious walls. Daniel jerked away from the touch, scrambling off the bed before he could do something. Yep. His fingers brushed Daniel's cheek, sending electricity down his spine. They'll destroy everything in their path for their precious walls. Daniel jerked away from the touch, scrambling off the bed before he could do something he would later regret. Stop trying to make me horny to manipulate me. He wrapped his arms around himself, pacing the dream-blurred room. You don't care about fixing anything. You just want revenge on Knox. Perhaps. Daniel watched him move. But I'm not lying about the keep. Well, I mean, it could have been Daniel. You just want revenge on Knox. Perhaps. Caelen watched him move. But I'm not lying about the keepers. They're dangerous fanatics who see the world in black and white. Unlike you, who only sees it in shadows. A laugh escaped Caelen. Actual amusement, not his usual mocking tone. The sound made Daniel's stomach flip. Mocking tone. The sound made Daniel's stomach flip. I promise you, I see things in a much greater context than the keepers do. They can't offer you what you need. And what are you offering? Daniel asked pointedly. Because last time we met, you weren't exactly big on choices. You locked me in a room and tried to drain my energy. Things have changed. Caelen rose from the bed. You changed them. When you looked into my soul. Stop. Daniel held up his hands. Just stop. I can't think when you're... He gestured vaguely at all of Caelen. The perfect face, the flowing white hair, the predatory grace. Being you. A flash of amusement crossed Caelen's face. When I'm being what, exactly? You know what you're doing. Daniel backed up another step. One more step and his back hit the wall. Trapped. He'd let Caelen maneuver him into a corner, literally and figuratively. The half-fae moved closer, and Daniel's breath caught in his throat. You're deflecting, Caelen said. Tell me what I'm doing that disturbs you so, making you horny. He recalled Daniel's earlier words. Daniel glared at him. I want you to get away from me. And yet here you are, in my dream. Your dream, Daniel laughed. Trust the Shadow King to twist everything. You invaded my dream. King to twist everything. You invaded my dream. Your dream. Daniel laughed. Why am I doing that again? I'm not. King to twist everything. You invaded my dream. Caelen closed the King to twist everything. You invaded my dream. Caelen closed the distance between them, one hand on the wall beside Daniel's head. His presence filled Daniel's senses. That winter frost sent the chill of his skin, the way his white hair almost seemed to glow. Up close, Daniel could see the subtle shifting patterns in his green irises like sunlight through leaves. Patterns in his green irises like sunlight through leaves. Perhaps we invaded each other's dreams, Caelen murmured. Perhaps that's what happens when two souls touch. Daniel's heart stumbled. We didn't. That's not what happened. You tried to take my energy, and I accidentally saw. He trailed off, remembering that tortured figure trapped inside Caelen, the pain, the rage, the loneliness. It doesn't matter what you saw, Caelen said. What matters now is what we make of our bond, and how it can help your situation. Daniel swallowed hard, his skin tingling from Caelen's proximity. What could you possibly do? This connection between us. Caelen brought his hand up near Daniel's cheek, not quite touching. It bridges both worlds. We could use it to stabilize the weakening areas. Long cookie, quite touching. It bridges both worlds. We could use it to stabilize the weakening areas. Adrian and Knox have that too. We could use it to stabilize the weakening areas. Adrian and Knox have that too, Daniel said, proud that his voice remained steady. Their connection spans both worlds too. Knox. A little too much on the end. Would have been good without the worlds too. Knox. Their connection spans both worlds too. Knox. Caelen spat the name. I have something he lacks. What are you talking about? Yeah, I'll take it. Thing he lacks. What are you talking about? Caelen leaned in, his lips brushing Daniel's ear. Deceptively warm breath tickled his skin as the Shadow King whispered, I have the powers of a god. Daniel's heart skipped, then raced. The words settled into his bones like ice crystals, beautiful and chilling. He could feel the truth of them, the raw power emanating from Caelen, different from Knox's powers of illusions, or even the Barrier Keeper's magic. This was something older, something darker. Knox's powers of illusions, or even the Barrier Keeper's magic. This was something older, something darker. and Daniel really, really wished he didn't find that hot.